Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my April TBR video. I read 12 books in March, which was like way more than I was expecting to, and I was really pleased about that, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to read a similar amount of books in April. But there are some really good releases that are coming out. March was kind of a slow month for releases, but April has a bunch that I'm like really into. So those are some of the ones that I'm going to be reading, but I'll talk about those at the end. And then books that are on my like physical TBR that are here already, I'm going to be showing you right now. So the first book that I want to read is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the third and final book in the Shades of Magic series, and I didn't start it right when it came out in February because I'm scared. The second book ended with a huge cliffhanger, and I'm just so nervous that something bad is gonna happen to one of the characters that I love. So I'm like terrified of continuing the series, but I know that I have to. Like, I'm gonna do it at some point, so I may as well do it now. And I've heard good things about it. I've been trying not to read anything that could potentially be like spoilery in any way, but this one is definitely like at the top of my list of things that I want to definitely read for April. It's actually really big too. It's much longer than either of the other books. The next book that I want to read is Famous in Love by Rebecca Searle. I've been talking a lot about Famous in Love in my news and stuff videos because the new show is going to be premiering on Freeform very soon. So I really want to just read this one before that comes out so that I will be able to see the differences between the book and the adaptation, because I am a nerd like that. So it follows, I believe it's a girl who is like discovered out of nowhere, and then she ends up being on like a TV show. So she gets like discovered in high school, and she becomes like the star of a movie adaptation of like a huge book series, and she ends up like getting involved in a romance with her co-star. And I know that there's like some kind of love triangle element, which I don't know how much I'm gonna like that, but I've heard good things about this book and I've wanted to read it for a while, and I need to read it before the show, so this is definitely happening in April. Next, I want to read Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I listened to a podcast with S.J. Jones, and it got me a lot more interested in this book. I've heard kind of mixed reviews about it from people that have read it because it's pitched as a labyrinth retelling, but I've heard that it's really not. Like, there are some nods to the original movie with David Bowie, but it's not like a direct retelling, which I think is good, and I think that I'll enjoy that. I believe it also was written as an adult book, and then they kind of like switched genres before it came out. They decided for it to be a YA book. So I think a lot of the reviewers that I've seen that didn't like it were people that tend to read only YA. So I'm hoping that that will mean that I will enjoy this more, because I do know a bunch of people that did really love it. So I'm really excited for it. I think the cover is really beautiful. If you know anything about Labyrinth, it's like a girl and her sister gets stolen, and then there's like a goblin king. And I know that this book deals a lot with music, so I think it's gonna be good. Then I want to read the third book in the Percy Jackson series, which is The Titan's Curse. I never finished the Percy Jackson series, as you may know if you've been watching my videos for a while. Don't know why, but I just recently had like the urge to continue, so I'm going to, and this is what I'm up to, so this is what I'm gonna read. And there's actually a play in New York City right now. It's off Broadway, but it's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief musical, and I do really want to see that, so I kind of want to finish up the series before I go to see that. So that also is kind of like motivating me to pick this up again. Then, like I said, there are a bunch of new releases that I really want to read. So the first one is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This is her second book. Her first book was Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, and I really loved that one like so much. It takes place in the same universe as Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, but it doesn't have the exact same characters. I believe it's following characters that Abby like left before she moved to where Simon lives. I know like a little bit about it. I know that it follows a girl who is a heavier girl, and she's never had like a romance before, but she has had a ton of crushes, and then she kind of meets like these two potential guys. One of them she gets along with so well, and they just have like so much in common, but he's like a huge nerd. And then the other one is like a little bit better looking, but she, I think, doesn't have as much in common with him. And she's kind of struggling like between which one she could maybe have some kind of romance with. And she also has a twin sister who's a lesbian who has had like a ton of relationships. Honestly, if I knew nothing about this book, I would pick it up because I loved Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, so I know that I'm gonna love this one too. This is also actually our Spines with Wines book club pick for the month of April. We kind of skipped over March because we both just had like really crazy things happening in our personal lives and we couldn't make the time and everything. So we were like, it's better if we just take a month off. We finally posted our Caraval book club, and now we're gonna change things up because we've been doing a lot of fantasy. So now we're gonna be talking about this one in the month of April. And then the next new release that I really want to read is Fireworks by Katie Cotugno. If you've watched my channel recently, you know that I just love Katie Cotugno so much. Like, her writing is so beautiful. She's one of my favorite contemporary authors, and she only has 2 books out. So this is going to be her 3rd, and then we're getting a 4th from her later in the year, which is so exciting. But this book follows 2 girls who are best friends. One of them has like always wanted to be a pop star, and the other one has like no desire to do that, but they're in Orlando in the 1990s during like the huge like boy band craze and everything. And it sounds like it's gonna be so cute because I believe that both of them kind of start getting a little bit popular, and then there's some rivalry between them. And it just like, if it's like any of Katie's other books, I just know I'm gonna love it. So I cannot wait for that one. And then the last book that is actually not on my TBR because I've already read it, but I just want to mention is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. That's coming out this month and it's so good. It's a You've Got Mail retelling and the characters are so cute. They're so adorable. They have the sweetest romance ever. All of the characters are kind of full of surprises. So the 2 main characters are Bailey and Porter, and they meet on this app for people who love movies. They start talking to each other, and then Bailey ends up moving across the country to live with her dad, which just so happens to be in the same town that Porter lives in. But the thing is that they don't know the real identity of the other person, so it's pretty obvious. Like, it says it in the description too, so we know that Bailey is looking for Porter, and we know like that he is the mysterious Alex from the app, but Porter doesn't know that Bailey is who he's been talking to. Bailey doesn't know that Porter is who she's been talking to. So the 2 of them end up working together at this museum, and they have a love to hate relationship. They like do not get along at first, but it's really, really cute like watching them develop. And it just, the book touches upon a lot more things that you like wouldn't expect it to go certain places, but it does. And I think it just does everything really, really well. And I really loved it. And I talked about it before because I read it already, but just check it out because it's really good. So those are all the books that I have on my April TBR. Let me know if there's anything that you're like really looking forward to reading this month. If there are any new releases that you really like just can't wait to get your hands on, because I know like we're finally getting into release season. May is like the month for like every release ever that I want to read, but there are like some good ones coming out in April too, so I'm excited. So that's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!